Welcome back to Gun Tote Minnesotan. So I finally wanted to finish up my review of the SWFA fixed power optics. I have a 10 power and I have a 12 power, and sorry for the highway, it's kind of noisy behind me. But I have a 10 power and a 12 power, and on my Savage here, I've put the 12 power on here. I put my 10 power on my air rifle. It's a precision air rifle, kind of a long distance deal, which I actually shoot at 200 and 250 yards as well. It's really fun to try. But it survived on the air rifle, which is the important thing. Remember that those piston guns or Springers and things like that, they're really tough on optics. They just beat things to death. And I mean like real high quality optics, they'll beat them to death. And so the fixed power, there's just not a lot of moving parts in there. It didn't break the erector tube. It didn't shift the reticle. What I'm figuring was that one time I was kind of rough on my 10X. That's why I broke it. I don't know. I did like kind of fall down a hill with a rifle. It's unsafe, but it definitely got smoked pretty hard. Maybe that's what did it. It was a little concerning to me because I had heard about the rigidity and the strength of it, but it did take a pretty good hit overall, so I will give it that. Outside of that issue, which I think is rare because even the folks at SWFA were like, how the heck did you break this thing, man? And it didn't have any big snaps in it or breaks or bends in the aluminum or anything, so that they were just surprised. But yeah, the reticle had shifted. I haven't had that problem with the 12X, and I've been running this one just, I don't know, maybe a month or something like that. Honestly, I've done more with the 10X, and the 10X was on this rifle for a while. I had primary arms on here. I know I've shifted optics quite a bit, but I like to test them out and see what works best. The things that I like about this rifle so far, or about this optic so far, the thinness of those lines. So a lot of times in my first focal plane optics, you know, you're going to get just thicker lines as you magnify, and it never really does bother me a lot. But there's an advantage, at least, to having some really thin lines in your reticle and some very acute points in those chevrons, which the 12X and the 10 power, they're both mil, but they have chevron diamonds in them, which are really unique, and they give me some awesome aiming points if I want to be pretty precise. Some folks complain about light transmission, not that it's not enough light, but it gets so bright in there. It gets so dang bright in here for a 30mm tube. You wouldn't want any more pupil than you have, because it does light up that reticle, and you got to focus really hard. Sometimes folks lose the reticle on black or dark objects. I have a little bit of that problem sometimes, but I just look to the side of the reticle and follow it in if I'm starting to get hazy or I can't find that center crosshairs. And a lot of times I'll use targets that are gray or not black, I'll say, a lot of times. The optic, it's a little bit long, it's a little bit big. I already kind of covered some of this in my part 1, so go back and watch that. But for what you're getting out of this, the supposed strength, I'll have to trust them that it does have a lot of strength than everybody else on the internet, because everybody's had really good experiences for durability, including I believe it was a Navy contract scope at one time, so it probably got roughed up pretty good. But they liked it, and the tracking and the turrets, of course the tracking is really good outside the little problem that I had with the reticle. The tracking was really good. I don't super prefer the method of resetting these turrets with the 3 pieces. That being said, they haven't come loose on me, and I don't over tighten them. I just try to be really fair, because it's aluminum and brass is what you're really engaging in those mechanisms. I've tried to be fair with that. Other than that, man, the natural sunshade that it comes with, I've never found a need to have more of a sunshade, adding anything in here. It's threaded, but I really don't think you need it. I don't like scope caps on this because it just makes the package bigger overall, and I always wreck those. I don't know what else to say. It's a great 30mm tube optic. You know, fixed power optics are awesome. It definitely has limitations. I wouldn't want to run this, you know, like 15 yards and stuff like that. It's kind of hard to find your target. If it's a small target, like you're shooting a squirrel or something, it's going to take you a second. It's kind of a learned skill, though. Anything past 50 yards, though, I really don't have that much problem with it. I really don't. I can get on my targets fast enough. So it's pretty sunny out right now. It's reflecting off the snow pretty heavily, and I still am not having a problem with this. I have more problem keeping my eyes open just because of the light around me than I do the reticle. Mostly just the wind right now is kind of nasty. All right, here we go. That's one. All right. A couple more. Ha! On the spin. That was pretty good for me. All right. So I don't have a whole lot more left to say about the optic. It's durable, according to other folks online. I find it very shootable. I like it. When it did break, SWFA got my new optic back to me very quickly. Overall, pretty good experience, and the only thing that could change would be that I would recommend you get it during Christmas or a holiday sale when it goes on sale for like $259. It's really competitive with the primary arms 4 to 14 line. Those I've gotten those for as low as $189 up to $229, and some folks pay $279 for the same optic. I see every once in a while. I think this is really competitive with it. I can't actually tell you what I think is better for my purposes overall, and so I kind of go back and forth between the two. Sometimes it's nice to have the lower and higher magnification. Sometimes I just like having something super simple where all I'm ever messing with is parallax and clear glass, and it is clear glass. You hear that online all the time. It is pretty clear. It's definitely a little bit clearer than the primary arms at fuller magnification, say 12 power, 14 power. It's a really big optic. It's a little too long. They should have smushed this guy down a little bit. If you've ever seen like the US Optics 10 power, they're so much smaller than these are. But for the price, again, $259 to $300 in there, this is the optic that I would suggest to somebody if they needed something that was bomb-proof, you know, a nice tight reticle, and for kind of precisionist shooting or target shooting, we'll call it target shooting, and of course it's been a military optic for a long time. So if that's your thing, then a fighting optic as well. I really enjoy it, but I'm going to throw some more rounds down range. Thanks for tuning into my channel. I haven't got deleted yet. YouTube hasn't swung around to taking me out, and maybe they'll back off. It sounds like they had enough backlash, so maybe my channel will stick around for a while, which would be fine. I have no problem making YouTube bow to our will. I like that. I don't super enjoy these kind of internal magazines, I'll tell you that. Maybe next video we'll talk about this Savage 12FE. Been getting some really good results with it, and it encourages me to put it in a chassis. These critters are why I can't sleep in the morning.